So I was scrolling through my YouTube sub feed and I came across a particular video from Xplay. It was called, "Was Budokai the peak of Dragon Ball fighting games?" Now, you guys know me. I love Dragon Ball games. And honestly speaking, back in the day, the Budokai games were experiences. Like, I hardly knew anybody who had a PS2 or a GameCube and didn't have those games respectively. So today I'm going to sit down and react to this video to really see what their thoughts are on concerning the topic, because I think this could actually make for a really interesting discussion. So again, we're going to be reacting to Xplay's "Was Budokai the peak of Dragon Ball fighting games?" video. And of course, I will be stopping periodically throughout the video to give off my opinions as well. But with that being said, let's get into it.
You know, I can't lie, man. I'm gonna miss doing these with you.
Wait, what?
You know, Joe, the feeling is not mutual.
Oh, that's crazy.
Today we're talking about the Budokai series.
This is why you get on my nerves. You mean to tell me, the Black Hokage, my final video, is gonna be about Dragon Ball?
Oh, this is his final
when
video.
I said we had Naruto at home.
Oh crap! I didn't know that Black Hokage was leaving
Whatever,
G4.
man. Listen, I'm the Black Hokage, and I guess today we're taking a look back at the first series of the Dragon Ball games to take root in the States.
I mean, it's really the same thing if you think about it.
Shut up.
Kamehameha.
No, believe it is different. Believe it is different.
Bro, what is happening?
Okay. Okay.
That's actually insane. I had no idea what was even going on.
While Dragon Ball Z Budokai was the first Dragon Ball game to really take hold stateside,
That's
it was
facts.
far from the first Dragon Ball game. The
Yeah.
Super Nintendo had the Budokan series in Hyper Dimension, the PlayStation 1 had Ultimate Battle 22, and Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. The Sega Saturn, though, it even got a game whose title I won't even try to pronounce.
Yeah, no.
You just love giving me
Although
long-ass,
the Butoden,
complicated names, don't you, huh?
that series
Yeah,
was
man,
actually
it's
really,
kinda
really
like my
fire.
thing. Anyway, none of these games ever made it stateside because Dragon Ball really wasn't popping like that in the 90s. I remember the OG series occasionally coming on early in the morning with VR Troopers on UPN, but it wasn't until Cartoon Network began airing Dragon Ball Z during Toonami
Yeah,
that the series became
Toonami's
the pop
what
cultural
really
behemoth
made it
we know
popular.
as today.
Facts.
Yeah. Were you a Dragon Ball Z fan as a kid?
Was I dude, to this day, I'm still
No,
a
that's
fan.
right.
I remember every
Yes,
morning
sir.
all the kids in the house speaking out about the previous afternoon's episode. We were like old ladies talking about their stories, but these stories involve time traveling and buff-ass pink dudes. How about you?
No, okay. Like, dude's actually spitting facts, right? Like, back in the day, I'm talking about, like, 90s to, like, early 2000s. Like, if you were a kid, and all you were talking about was Dragon Ball, bro. You were talking about, like, you know, the episodes that aired on Toonami. You were talking about the games, all that, or even, like, theories, bro. Like, I'm talking about, like, the origins of, like, Super Saiyan 5 and, like, all the up to, like, Super Saiyan 100. Like, back then, it was all about Dragon Ball, bro. Like, if you weren't talking about it, like, something was, like, completely off, right? But no, dude's spitting facts.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. I mean, especially as like a young teenage boy whose testosterone levels are starting to rise, I wanted my T levels to reach over 9,000 as well.
Bro,
so
what?
I really resonated with this show.
As a result of the franchise's growing popularity, there was an explosion of Dragon Ball Z merchandise. I'm talking
Yeah.
toys, DVDs, manga, and of course, video games.
Yep.
Now, some of the aforementioned games like Ultimate Battle 22 and Final Bout eventually made it stateside as a result of this newfound popularity, but Dragon Ball Z Budokai was the first new game designed with a Western release in mind.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Sorry, I
Hello?
briskly walked the whole way here. Okay, how are you gonna do Corey's last video and not invite me?
Do
What
you
is
like
happening?
Dragon Ball?
No.
Then what would you even do here, man?
Bro, what?
Look, I talk about the guy with the, you know, and the. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It just would have been nice to be invited. Y'all are my boys.
I mean,
I mean, hey,
fair.
Here now.
gotta include the homie.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai is a 3D fighter in the vein of Tekken.
Oh,
While reviews
man.
at the time weren't great, that didn't matter to the generation of kids that were growing up on the
Like,
adventures
just
of
seeing
Goku,
Budokai.
Vegeta,
Oh, they had
and
Kamehameha
Vegeta.
being
For many
yellow,
of
too,
us,
which made
this
no
was the first
sense.
time we got to play as the characters we grew to love, and it felt glorious.
Budokai's story followed the Saiyan arc, the Android arc, and the mother Cell game.
No, that's
Are you a
right.
big fan of Cell?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Cell, Gohan's been my A1 since day one.
Talk to
Yeah,
him.
I could see how you relate. He started off strong and then he became weak as hell, just like you.
All right, wait, hold on, wait. We got
I don't
Gohan
even know what
Beast.
that means,
We
but I
got
know he
Gohan
calls you
Beast.
that.
He's back up there.
I want to fight both of you. While I can concede that Budokai
Look at him,
wasn't the
Goat
best
Han.
fighting game, the thrill of actually being able to play through the stories I was watching was enough for me. I remember getting the Greatest Hits edition because we didn't have money like that, and playing that thing to pieces. The story mode was a blast, but having your friends come over to create your dream Dragon Ball matchups was also part of the fun.
Yes, dude, it's been like everything he's saying right now is purely resonating with me because I have countless memories of playing Budokai 1, Budokai 2, Budokai 3, like all those games, like, or at least right now strictly sticking with Budokai, but those games, I played them into the ground with my homies. Like, we would run sets after sets after sets. I'm telling y'all. Again, 90s to like 2000s, bruh, was a phenomenal time to be a Dragon Ball fan, especially if you were a kid. Because, personally speaking, right, the Budokai games were kind of like the precedent to like how, you know, we continuously got Dragon Ball games to this day. Like, I see that as like the founding father in a way, right? Like where it started off with Budokai, and those series were respectively successful, and then because of that, it evolved into the Tenkaichi series, and then kind of grew from there. So, like again, I personally believe that we have a lot to thank the original Budokai series for. Otherwise, I really don't think we would have gotten a lot of these games. Honestly speaking, I mean maybe Fighters is different, but I don't know. Like we owe a lot to the OG Budokai games for sure.
I think Dragon Ball Z Budokai is a perfect example of how, at the time, simply being able to exist in the world you love was enough.
It wasn't all great thot. That mission where you had to hold down to blast a hole through.
Oh god, the pain. That
Okay, so it's fine.
Quick stop. Look, Budokai 1 players, right? Y'all know the pain. What they just showed on screen, the Raditz mission where you had to keep him still so you can hit him with the special beam cannon. One of the most brutal missions ever. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fine when Fight Night does it. But when it comes to Dragon Ball, you got a problem?
Yeah, I mean, Fight Night's better, it's obvious.
That's crazy.
I didn't ask you to state facts, Corey.
Nobody else.
Damn, I'm gonna miss this.
Shut up, Jake.
Right.
Typical Corey, Joe, and Jake not inviting anybody
Where did
else
she
to
come
fun.
from?
I didn't think you were a big fan of Dragon Ball.
Dude, we were just gushing about Dragon Ball Superhero, and I'm dressed like Android 18.
I just thought you were being a homie.
She doing her thing?
Dang.
She doing her thing?
This is me being a homie. Let's talk about Budokai 2.
No, you are not being a
Dragon Ball
homie.
Z Budokai was an
No.
enormous success, so obviously a sequel was fast-tracked for development. Budokai 2 came out only a year after the first game, and it didn't really do much to improve upon the original.
Yeah, it really
The board
didn't.
game layout of the campaign was kind
This. Oh,
Yeah, but
God.
the number of saving you had to go through to get to the real fights was annoying.
Okay, everything they're saying, okay. I have a lot to say about Budokai 2. Now, Budokai 2 did improve a few things from Budokai 1, right? The graphics were obviously way better. And not only that, there were certain commands that were shortened, right? Where, for example, if you were to execute Kamehameha, you'd have to do your punch a few times before using energy in order to throw out Kamehameha. But in this game, they shortened it to just, you know, a direction with your control stick, and then after that energy, and you can do Kamehameha. So they did. Oh, and they also had some what if fusions in the game as well. So they did a few things right, but for the most part though, Budokai 2 was not it. And one of the main reasons was that story mode. That story mode was really bad. And not only that, Kid Buu was snapped, super snapped. And not only that, to unlock future Trunks, you had to beat Kid Buu with Kid Trunks. It was darn near impossible. It was such a pain to go through. Budokai 2, out of the 3 games, is easily, in my opinion, the worst one. But it is what it is.
That being said, I did like the shift from the regular 3D to like the cell shaded look.
Emily.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
Dragon
The cell
Ball
shading
fans or
was
anything
really
you'd
really
like
good.
to add?
I definitely liked the roster of Budokai 2. I thought that was a lot of
Okay,
fun.
yeah.
And yeah, just the ability
Roster
to,
was good too.
that
Roster was
my
definitely
first
good.
entry in the series. Just the ability to like free roam and fly around and do combat up in the air like that. It reminds me a lot. I feel like the only other game I've played that has done that is the My Hero Academia 1 Justice, where you can kind of like really get creative in your environment.
I get what she means. I get what she means.
Magical Girl fighting game. I want to see Sailor Moon square off against Madoka, square off against Pretty Cure, square off against Tokyo Mew Mew. That's all I want in this world.
Hey, hold on, wait. She might actually be spitting. Wait, she might actually be
It's
spitting.
fun. Maybe next time you'll invite
Like
me.
Sailor Moon would actually go kind of crazy. I'm not gonna sit there and cut.
There's not gonna be a next time, remember?
Yo, 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 what's up?
Hello.
Corey,
G-Money in the building?
heard you were leaving.
Yeah, I am.
You know, even though you left G-Money Incorporated on, difficult terms,
Debatable.
you were and are one of the best fighters, so, you deserve this. So
Oh, they got him a chain. Okay.
slip this bad boy on.
No, that's right.
You look great. You look great.
Thank you, G-Money. I appreciate it.
I am gonna need it back, but loved working with you.
Bro, what?
Fight managed. Peace, everyone.
All right.
That was ghetto. I don't know what that was.
Bro, what the?
Speaking of the ghetto, I am hyped to talk about Budokai 3.
All right, well, let's talk about Budokai 3.
That transition was trash.
3 Budokai games came out on an annual schedule. While you could really see that in Budokai 2, Budokai 3 actually did a lot to improve the foundation laid by the first game. The combat, it felt quicker, and the teams at DIMPS added multiple mechanics that truly made it feel like you were playing through an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I agree. Again, Budokai 3 was truly like the ultimate step up from the first 2 games, right? I remember, like, I was in, I think, from grade school going into, like, middle school, and Shonen Jump was still a thing at the time, and they had articles in Shonen Jump about Budokai 3, and it was, I think they had an image of, like, Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan on, like, Dynamic against Cell. It was, I don't know why they picked that stage, but I saw it on there or something of the sort. Like, Budokai 3 just did so much right. Like, they still stuck with the cell shading, right? But improved the graphics a bit more. The combat was better. The story mode was way better in comparison to Budokai 2. The roster was solid. Like, the characters you're able to play as was also great. Again, we still had access to fusions. We were finally able to play as Gogeta for the first time. We had our access to GT characters as well. Like, this game had it all. And out of the Budokai games, Budokai 3 was easily my favorite. Hands down. It was such a good game.
If you and your opponent both set off a beam
Oh, yeah,
at
then
the same
they're using the
time,
HD
a
collection
beam
right here.
clash would be triggered.
Oh,
This
yeah,
involved
and they
both
added
opponents
beam struggles,
standing with
too.
Left thumbstick to determine whose beam would be more powerful. There were instant transmission counters that allowed you to teleport behind your opponent.
Oh, dude was combo canceling a little bit.
Oh, we gotta talk about the Dragon Rushes. It was this dope rock, paper, scissors like mini game.
Dragon Rush was cool to watch, but actually do it was really
Those
not
were
that good
so
of a mechanic.
Sick. I really love the finishing moves in this game. Oh, and how you could fly throughout the arena at will.
Yes,
Not
which
for
helped out a
far
lot.
Was,
That helped out so much.
Shit, I never played this game.
We know, Jake. Anyways, the story mode was dope because it was a showcase of the series' most iconic moments and even included some fights from the movies and GT. Not to mention, the roster
Big
in
Bang
this game
Kamehameha was
stacked.
such a snatch
All
move.
these
It was
elements
unnecessarily
combined
strong.
made Budokai 3 feel like a real love letter to the Dragon Ball series.
Oh,
It's
yeah, and
safe
they
to
had
say
unique
that
charging
for a good
animations,
while,
too.
This was the peak of Dragon Ball games.
For
Bruh.
me, yeah, this is standard I held every Dragon Ball fighting game up to until Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, Burst Limit was fine, the Raging Blast were solid enough, fuck Ultimate Tenkaichi, but
Okay.
Budokai 3 really laid a solid foundation that hasn't really been followed up on. What do you think, Emily?
I did not play this one. What did you think, Corey?
I think the thing that stood out to me most was the roster being stacked, and then also the beam clashes. That was really dope because you would tear up controllers, fighting your friends, mashing.
Yeah, big
My
facts.
parents would beat my ass because we had to get another one.
Okay, nah, spitting facts. And that's even before Budokai 3. Like, that's also Budokai 2. So, if you guys don't know, back in the day, when you had, like, clashes or beam struggles or whatever the case may be, you would have to rotate the control stick, right? But based on the way how the PlayStation controllers are laid out, which I have, like, a PS5 controller right here, but based on how the controllers are laid out, when you rotate the sticks, you would honestly rotate both sticks, right? You don't have to rotate the right stick, but the left stick you had to. And, doing so would really tear up controllers, like bad, like to the point where like you could have like a stick so messed up like it'll just be like off axis and like stay there, right? Or like drifting would happen, or you would just like completely burn off the grips, and some would like rotate the control stick so fast and so like brutally that it would actually tear up your hands too. And I think common examples of that would be in Budokai 2 trying to do Final Explosion with Majin Vegeta, obviously beam struggles in Budokai 3, all that stuff, right? So yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
Bro, why are you here?
Jake, this is
Bro.
for Reeves only.
While this was the end of the first Budokai series, it wasn't the end of the series completely. There was the Shin Budokai series on the PSP, which, I gotta be honest, none of us played. But
Hold on, whoa.
Budokai Tenkaichi.
I was definitely playing Shin Budokai 1 and 2.
Series into the
like, especially, like, Another Road was fire.
That most anime games follow to this day. The series isn't as fondly remembered due to it being regulated to the Wii and the PlayStation 2, as the HD era was just kicking off.
All right, now, I will straight up say that's cap. Like, that is 100% cap, right? Now, the Wii at the time, actually no, not even at the time, like even to this day, is still one of the most popular consoles like ever sold, right? And not only that, the PS2 was the most popular console ever sold. So, to say that they weren't popular titles or memorable like that because of like the HD era, which I understand like what he's saying, right? Like that was around the time when we were starting to transition to HD with, you know, PS3 and whatnot, right? But these games are revered as some of the best Dragon Ball games. Like, especially in particular, Tenkaichi 3 is revered as, for a lot of people, the best Dragon Ball game to grace this planet, right? So I really don't agree with that. Like, maybe Budokai 1, okay, I can understand that. Or Budokai 1, sorry, Budokai Tenkaichi 1, okay, I can understand that. Tenkaichi 2, it's kind of in that gray area, but Tenkaichi 3, no. Like, a lot of people revere that as some of the, like, if not the best Dragon Ball game on this planet, right? I think that's debatable at this point, because I do think there's better games out there now than Tenkaichi 3, but Tenkaichi 3 was definitely that game. Y'all know what I said earlier about, like, having a PS2 or a GameCube respectively for Budokai's 1 and 2 for the GameCube, and then only PS2 for Budokai 3, but with Tenkaichi 3, if you had a PS2 or a Wii and you did not have this game, something was absolutely wrong. Like, you were literally doing something wrong. So, yeah, I don't agree with that statement at all.
On paper, the Tenkaichi games were kind of cool. The roster only got more and more stacked, with 3 having an almost upsetting amount of characters.
Oh yeah, Arale was in the game too!
Was really cool to a 14-year-old me, but the motion controls were a lot. You basically had to do air cursive to get your specials off. It was a crapshoot if it ever worked.
Like, that was the reason why I stuck with the
weird
PS2
thing about
version of the game.
Is that there isn't a lot of nostalgia behind them, but they're quietly some of the most influential anime games. Now,
I don't agree with that at all, but I've already explained why I don't agree with that.
Even though I've played like all of them. But it sure does seem like there was a time before Tenkaichi and after Tenkaichi when it came to shonen anime.
Okay. I'm gonna stop right there because, like I said, I've already explained why I don't agree with what they're saying. But there's also another reason to add on top of what I said earlier, and that is those games were so influential that in the early DBZ tuber days, Tenkaichi 3 was the game that they utilized to, you know, make Dragon Ball content. Obviously, you know, people were playing, like, you know, whatever game they wanted, including the Budokai series. But it was really the Tenkaichi games that were getting a lot of the reception. So, and again, like, those, like, formed some of, like, the OG content creators, or for in the Dragon Ball Z tuber scene. But, like, a lot of the OG creators were playing Tenkaichi 3, and especially once mods were added, it was a wrap. Like, everybody was, like, trying to do content on that game. And also, I think that was around the time when we were really having a drought, too, right? And I think that was, like, I think it was, like, that gray area, because we had Burst Limit afterwards, and then we had to wait a little bit until we actually got the Raging Blast series. But it was really the mods from Tenkaichi 3 that kind of held everything down. So, again, for them to say that it's not memorable is still very wild to me. I don't know why they're saying that, because I don't agree with that at all.
I would agree with that. I remember games like the Dot Hack series and the Naruto Broken Bond coming out around the same time as the Tenkaichi games. There were even those weird Eureka 7 games that didn't quite scratch the giant robot itch provided by anime. But in the following years, it kind of felt like every anime fighter had followed in the footsteps of Tenkaichi.
That's true.
Naruto, My Hero Academia, Jump Force, One Punch Man, even Demon Slayer has followed the same behind the back.
Yeah, because the Tenkaichi series made the arena brawler genre very popular.
Why is every anime game the goddamn same? Watching Naruto and watching Demon Slayer are two very different experiences, but you wouldn't know that if you were going to go off their video games.
Oh,
that is fair.
Talking about Dragon Ball today? Okay.
That's crazy.
I can't, for the life of me, understand how this became the default for every anime game. Shonen anime, by and large, has such a strong potential for
Okay, Jump Force is made by the same
action
company,
games.
so
But 9
that
times
makes
out of 10,
sense.
You're either getting a Dynasty Warriors clone or an Ultimate Ninja Storm clone. And while yes, many of the anime games of the PS2 era were quite janky, at least they had some diversity.
No, Jump Force is made by the same company who
Thank
made
you,
the
Jake. That's
Tenkaichi
the smartest
series.
thing you've said all day.
Like, Spike made that
I
game, so.
kind of like the anime fighters. They're simple to pick up, and they allow you to feel like you're playing the characters you love without having to play through some forced 10-episode filler arc.
I'm not saying
man.
there isn't room for these types of games or that they should also go away completely.
But there should
I'm
be,
just saying that we need more variety.
yeah, there
The
should be
last
some
decade has
diversity.
been pretty samey, but things are kind of looking up. There's Dragon Ball The Breakers. It's basically a Dead by Daylight clone.
All right, no, look, I'm not looking
Interesting.
forward to Dragon Ball
My
The
Hero
Breakers.
Ultimate Rumble is a battle royale set in the My Hero.
I heard that game was
and
actually
to bring it
really
back
fun.
home, Dragon Ball Fighters is actually a really good 2D 3v3 fighting game.
Yeah, but as of now, those are the exceptions, not the rule, Joe. And I'm a black man. I'm contractually obligated to love shonen, and I just want the games to do more to honor that love.
While I
Okay.
have to admit that Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 did the final Naruto Sasuke fight in a more emotional manner than the show, I can agree that things need to be shaken up. So, now that that's out of your system, can we talk about why this franchise fell?
Sure, Joe.
Okay, now, before they get into that, so what I'm going to say could be considered a hot take to a lot of people. I really don't think it is, because I think there is credence to it. But when they were saying that, okay, them holding the Budokai series to such high regard is perfectly fine, right? I personally get it. But the way how they're going about saying the other games, other Dragon Ball games specifically, don't hold weight over the Budokai series is insane to me. I would say if I were to pick some games that don't hold weight over the Budokai series, I would say Tenkaichi 1. Tenkaichi 1 definitely doesn't. It was an experience at the time, but definitely out of the Tenkaichi games, 2 and 3 were way better than the Budokai series. Ultimate Tenkaichi definitely did not. The graphics were nice. Well, I'll say the visuals in general were nice. Free roam was in there and all that stuff. But the gameplay was really bad. Online was bad. That game was really not a good experience, and I stand by that. But the Raging Blast series was all good, in my opinion. And contrary to how people may feel, the Xenoverse series is better than the Budokai series. Let's not cap. Let's not cap. Like, the Xenoverse series, even though there are definitely areas in which that series can improve, is better than the Budokai series. And to argue that would be absolutely wild to me. And, of course, Fighters, that's just a complete no-brainer. But, yeah, I understand them holding the Budokai series to a high regard, but there are definitely modern Dragon Ball games that are better than that. And I would say, off the top of my head, Xenoverse 2, Fighters, and well, I said modern, so I guess I'll cut it out from that. But if I were to say all of them, then I would include the Raging Blast series in there too.
Okay, if I may interject, did this franchise really fall?
Oh, and the Tenkaichi series, of course.
They aren't making any more Budokai games, so...
Yeah, but they're still making Dragon Ball games, a lot of them, like an absurd amount of them. You already mentioned Burst Limit and Raging Blast, but there was
Which Burst
also
Limit is a
Battle of
good
the
game,
Fleet,
it's just-
the
it's
Xenoverse
incomplete.
games, and bleh, Ultimate Tenkaichi.
Y'all really don't like Ultimate Tenkaichi.
Bro,
The game was trash!
Ultimate Tenkaichi can suck my fat dick.
That game called me a slur.
Sheesh. Okay.
I mean, but he's not.
I get what you're saying, Emily.
Right.
The Budokai franchise didn't really fall, though. I'm just saying it just evolved.
Exactly.
You guys talking about Dragon Ball Evolution on the PSP?
Oh.
we respect ourselves.
You know what's crazy too? Dragon Ball Evolution as a game is not bad because it just runs off the Budokai engine. The movie, on the other hand, was really
Can we
bad.
wrap this video up?
But if we stop the video, that means you're leaving.
Oh.
Yeah, it's usually how it works.
Corey, it's just been
That's
such
great.
an absolute blast being a producer and working with you. Weird West, Mass Effect, even the hellscape that was Rainbow Six Extraction. It's just been, there's so
That was
many.
a struggle.
It was a struggle. But
Man,
just
they
thank you
really
for
get my
everything
boy,
you've
the
done.
Black
It was-
Hokage, out of here.
the
What is
best.
going on?
Yeah, I'll never forget our hell in an airport together going
In
going to
Madden.
Saints.
Like, I don't know if they're actually going to continue. But yeah, like I said, personally speaking, I just think that the first half of the video, I was like, okay, you know, I rock with it. You know, the second half, oh god, yeah, like I think it's insane, right? because again, the Budokai series was definitely fun. Again, if you had a GameCube or a PS2, again, GameCube up to Budokai 2, PS2 was 1 through 3 for Budokais. But if you have those games, everybody was at your spot back in the day. Always running sets, every single time, using different characters, trying out different tactics, everything, right? It was an experience. And with the Tenkaichi series, it was that, but even more, right? You had a huge arena to fight in this time. You weren't just stuck on a 2D plane, right? And being able to utilize characters, again, beam struggles, all that stuff, destructive environments as well, playing as giant characters, all that stuff was absolutely unreal back in the day. And the Tenkaichi games elevated this series. Again, the Budokai series was definitely like the founding father of, like, you know, the Dragon Ball games that we have today. And then obviously we had games that evolved said formula, right? Again, with the first one being the Tenkaichi series, and then afterwards was Burst Limit, which, again, Burst Limit is not a bad game at all. It's really, really good. The issue with Burst Limit is that it's an incomplete game. That game was supposed to go further than the sagas we got, but it never came to fruition, which is unfortunate too, because I think that was around the time when DLC wasn't really a thing like that just yet. Like, it was a thing, but not like adding like a mass amount of additional content, right? And then afterwards, we got the Raging Blast series, which I played into the ground, especially Raging Blast 2. And then we got Ultimate Tenkaichi. Look, I don't know how some of you guys like that game. Look, if it's your favorite game, that's perfectly fine. But that game was not it. There was a ton of things wrong with that game. The marketing was bad. Like, they didn't even get the voice actors correct for some of the characters, right? Like, for example, there was instances where they had the old voice actor and the new voice actor of Teen Gohan. There was instances when they had the old voice actor and the new voice actor of Frieza. Like, it was all over the place. Like, it was not a good experience, except for character creation. That was actually fire. And then after that, we got Battle Z, which some people like, some people don't. It is what it is. And then, of course, we had Xenoverse afterwards, which a lot of people do love. And then after Xenoverse, then we got Fighters. So, yeah, there are a lot of games out there that are obviously built from, like, the ideologies of the original Budokai series, right? But evolved in a way that it's not only more enjoyable than the originals, but can also, I guess, expand the reach to people that may have been skeptical about getting a Dragon Ball game or just hopping into, like, the franchise in general. I think the best example of that is Dragon Ball FighterZ, because it was finally that one Dragon Ball game that melded the Dragon Ball fandom alongside the fighting game community. Because, I mean, a lot of people in the fighting game community obviously love Dragon Ball. There just wasn't a game that really captured their interest, understandably so. And then FighterZ came out and it finally bridged that gap, right? So, like I said, I'm pretty sure the final part of this video, they're probably saying their final goodbyes to Black Hokage. Again, dude's the GOAT, right? But for the most part, though, this was an interesting video, but that's just my opinions about it. I do want to note in the comment section below, what are your thoughts about the Budokai series? And do you think that it's darn near unrivaled? Or does it hold like a special place in people's hearts, but has obviously, you know, been surpassed? Again, let me know all of that in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.